In the process of curating an upcoming exhibit for an iconic town landmark, officials from the Castine Historical Society made a rather explosive discovery. Colin Gallagher takes us there for more.
The town of Castine is looking to open up the Dice Head Lighthouse more frequently this summer, with plans for a historical exhibition in the vestibule of the lighthouse.
We'll explore the indigenous history of this place as well as the more recent history since the lighthouse was constructed in 1828, and it is still an active, in-use lighthouse maintained by the United States Coast Guard.
During the process of cleaning out space on the property, officials from the Castine Historical Society made a rather precarious find.
We discovered that there were a dozen or so cannonballs, or technically mortar shells, that were in the shed attached to the lighthouse, as well as one mortar shell in the lighthouse itself.
According to Executive Director Kate McMahon, the recently discovered shells are believed to be from the War of 1812, during the British occupation of Castine.
We decided that it would be safest for visitors to contact the Maine State Police Bomb Squad to ensure that nothing here is potentially dangerous.
Through testing and investigating with the help of the bomb squad, it was found that 9 had cement inside, while 4 were found to be hollow. Mortar shells that were deemed inert were returned to the lighthouse and will serve as part of the upcoming exhibit.
The fact that there are a dozen here, we had several of these mortar shells and dozens of smaller cannonballs, both at our museum, the Castine Historical Society, as well as the other museum in town, the Wilson Museum. Castine's history as this contested piece of land during the American Revolution and the War of 1812 is really highlighted with these items.
They hope their plans for the lighthouse will draw more visitors to take in the historical significance of the coastal town.
We think it's a great way for people to appreciate this place and to, drive some people to make the trip down 166 and come to visit us.
Colin Gallagher, WABI News, Castine.